Hi Ricardo, this is Jim Gillis with Win My Vote and also with the National Student Parent Mock Election. Sorry I don't have my camera on, but I wanted to get this to you as soon as possible, and I'm not in the office and the background's really not set up for it. But wanted to talk with you about what Win My Vote is. So Win My Vote is a new universal interactive social voter guide. So think about that, big booklet that you get from the elections department with names of candidates and then position statements and propositions and arguments for and against, etc. All of that online in a social network or platform where the candidates control their own profiles, so they can update those instantly, and then voters can communicate and all. It's very much like a social media, but really designed for voters and candidates as well as groups and organizations that advocate. So we launched in 2016, and we launched with the National Student Parent Mock Election, which has been going on since about 1982. It's about 50 million teachers and students since then. It does anywhere between 2 and 3 million and 5 million per mock election. So on the off presidential elections, it's usually a couple of million. On the presidential elections, it usually gets up to about 5 million. We were the online version of this election, and I can talk to you about how that works and all. But what's happening right now is that this the foundation is sort of dissolving. There was one person left, and now we're going to probably, myself and a couple of board members, will probably take it over completely and do it completely online, and really focus on the digital education space, and we're going to try to get this thing up to about 10 to 15 million in 2018 midterm, which would be I know it's a lofty goal, but we've really simplified the process so that teachers can land on the website, click, sign up quickly, and all the kids can participate. They can watch videos of the candidates, they can send messages, they can do a lot of interactive stuff, and then they can vote. So I know this isn't your spot for investing, but would like to talk with you about it. The National Student Parent Mock Election, which we're going to probably rebrand it and call it the National Student Vote. We're looking to raise, or be sponsored by, or have an investment of somewhere around 20 to 25,000. We should be able to do, the whole event for that amount of money. Also, Win My Vote, which this is my site, is for general use as well. So I'll give you an idea of what the ballots look like. So this is the California, this is the June 5th, but for this demo, we'll go back a little bit and I'll show you the 2016 presidential election. As a matter of fact, I will change my zip code, sorry about that, to a San Francisco zip code. So it'll populate here, and when I first sign up, these that are direct hits will be auto-populated. So with just my zip code, it'll place me in all of these. It won't place me in this one. This is an either or because my zip code is in both of these districts. But if I didn't know that I was my congressional district was 12, I could look here on this map and it would show me. And then that way the voter user just needs to put their zip code in, and then they can fine-tune their districts. So we don't need their personal information or their home address or anything like that. And then you click save. And then that's updated. So now you can see my ballots have changed. And again, this site right here is sort of the old site that we used for not only the National Student Parent Mock Election, but we also did a couple of other elections. A real interesting one was the National Association of Student Council. That was 1,100 kids at their annual event, and it was a dead heat. And that was back in June of 2016, which I can tell you stories about that, which was very interesting because all the polls had Hillary up by 10 points or so, and here we were with high school students and it was a dead heat, which was very upsetting to the organizers, I can tell you that. But anyway, as a demo, we'll just use the presidential ballot. So as a voter, I go up here and I can see all the candidates in the race immediately. And believe it or not, when we first started building this, there wasn't any other site like this. I mean, we thought for sure there was plenty of sites like this, and that our big differentiator was going to be. Anyway, sorry about that. I had to take a quick call, and I'm hoping that I remembered where I was, and the videos, can a little bit more cohesive than it probably is right now. So sorry about that. But anyway, we were looking all over, and there was no place where I could see just all the candidates side by side in each one of the races. There were sites like Ballotpedia and even Wikipedia, and the League of Women Voters, and there was a couple of other that were okay, that they would list names, and then you could click on the name and it would take you to their website, or it would take you to a profile that they, either the candidate or the organization that was running the site had populated, but most of it was a year or 2 years old, or very, it was sort of hit or miss on the information. So here you can see all the candidates side by side. You can scroll down to all of the races, all the way down the ballot, and then you can also click on the candidate profile and then hear directly from the candidate. So here is Gary Johnson's profile, and again the candidate would run their own profile the same way they would a LinkedIn profile, an online dating profile, their Twitter account, their Facebook page. All of these, all of the successful models in this type of social media and social interaction, the candidates or the people always control and manage their own profile. And again, that was one of those things where we assumed that it was going to be out there in politics as well, but it wasn't. It was, every site that I mentioned earlier, none of the candidates controlled their profile. It was always controlled by the organization that was running the site, which we think was a model that's just never going to work. But anyway, so as a voter, I can scroll down, I can see issue statements that they feel are most important. I can also see the groups and organizations and individuals that are endorsing this candidate, and I can even click through and listen to it directly.
Johnson, what was your reaction?
Much ado about nothing.
In what sense?
Well, the reason is Gary Johnson supports full withdrawal from the war. I agree with him. So once you've withdrawn from the Middle East, who's going to care about that city anymore?
But if
None
it's
of us.
at the epicenter, at the heart of the conflict and what's going on in Syria.
And we're wrong to be there in the first place.
So you can, and you can also scroll through and listen to other groups and organizations. We call them trusted sources. And again, the candidate profile already looks different. It's much more robust. It has issue statements that are listed out. The trusted sources, aspect of this, the endorsements are done in a different way as well. And I can give you a peek on that, but the video is going to start running really long. But anyway, so if I like this candidate, I can favorite this candidate. And now when I go back to my ballot, the candidate has moved to this first position. Nameplate's turned green. I can see this really easily on my cell phone or tablet if I'm on the move. I can also see how the candidate's doing. So this is a percentage of the favorites that are on this ballot. And this is good for a couple of reasons. One, if I want to endorse this candidate and share it with friends, I can kind of see how he's doing. It's also great for the candidate. So this way, the candidate can build a candidate profile. They can reach out to all their constituents, send them to their profile, say, sign up for Win My Vote. It's totally free. You can see all the candidates, review my profile if you like me, favorite me, and then they can track how they're doing there. They can send out 10,000 emails. We can tell them that, look, 6,000 people signed up, 5,000 people looked at your profile, 3,000 people favorited you. And they favorited you after this amount of time, and of the remaining people that didn't favorite you, 50% have favorited another candidate, the other 50% haven't favorited anyone in the race. So they really get a lot of information real quickly and without much effort and at pretty much zero cost. So the user can also then go down to other races and go about their business, and they don't have to remember Gary Johnson. Now obviously the presidential candidates are easy to remember, but when you get down and I left that open Usually you would signify your district if it was district only voting, and then you'd only see the district that you're in. I left it blank so I could see all the races, all the districts. But let's say I'm actually in District 7. So let's say you're here on District 7 and you want to find out who Michael Young is, and you can click on that and you can hear directly from him.
Mike Young for District 7 Supervisor, Harvard, Berkeley, Lowell graduate, former U.S. Army infantry officer, former U.S. diplomat under Colin Powell and Hillary Clinton, pushing for more community policing.
And then with that, let's say if I like everything about that, I favorite Michael. Oh, and this is just saying that I have to be registered in that district to vote. But anyway, so let's say if I was, or I'll show you again how easy this is. Hopefully it won't take very long. There, I'm in 7. And now that's updated, and I'll go back to my ballot. And I'll go down to 7. Oops, sorry. And there we are. So now, they obviously took that favorite and said, okay, you can favorite now, you're in 7. So with this, I can now move on to the school board race, and I can start going through these candidates. And I don't really have to remember Michael Young's name. I fill out my ballot. I can do this leading up to the election, and now I have a nice, ballot. I can also, if I wanted to just see just my favorites in each one of the races, I could do that, and then I can scroll down and I can see that real easily, so there's no other distractions. I can print out my ballot. I can share it with friends. I can even create a group and then make endorsements for candidates and share those with friends as well. So there's lots of things that I can do here. Now the other thing is that I can find my polling place. I can type my address in here, click find my polling place, and it will give me a nice turn-by-turn directions, a nice Google map. It also gives me hours of operation of the polling place. Now I can check on my voter registration status. Sorry about that, I didn't mean to click that. I can check here. We're also going to be partnering with vote.org and probably Rock the Vote and those types of organizations that make it a little bit simpler for you to quickly check on your voter registration status. And if you're not registered, for those states that you can register online, you can easily do it with just filling it out your name. We're also going to be doing some interesting stuff with another group that's tied to the National Student Parent Mock Election, which will allow 16 and 17-year-olds to pre-register in certain states. So when they sign up for the mock election, it'll be right there. They can also pre-register, and when they turn 18, then they'll be officially registered for those elections moving forward. Anyway, we'd love to talk with you about it. Again, we're looking for sort of sponsors for the National Student Parent Mock Election, as well as investors in Win My Vote. Since there's a lot of shared product and software on the back end, we're in the neighborhood of 20 to 25,000 to put on the National Student Parent Mock Election. That will get us sort of into this phase 2 of Win My Vote, where we'll only maybe need another 10 to 15,000 to finish it. And I can give you a peek on that. I know this is super long, so apologize for that. So sorry about how distracting this is, because the screen capture software won't let me change the frame of what it's capturing in the middle of this video. So and these are just kind of mock-up ideas that we've been throwing around as far as a home page, so don't worry about that part. But this is what the new ballot will look like. It'll be a little bit more robust and a little bit nicer looking, we think. And there's a variety of other changes there. But the candidate profile, oops, sorry about that one. The candidate profile will look more like this. It's much cleaner. The user will be able to scroll through featured endorsements, and if they want to click through and watch the video, they can watch it right there. And then this is in the endorsement section, where they'll be able to see all of these endorsements. But they can click on About Me, and then they can scroll down and read that, and then they can go over to On the Issues, and here they can specify specific issues if they wanted find out about their views on the waterfront or on Medicare for All. They can go through those, public safety, libraries, whatever. These are all open, whatever the candidate wants to put in there. And then, this section right here, which is called For the Record, is mainly where we're hoping that the negative or, I guess the negative, stuff will come out. We're going to try to keep the whole site really clean and positive, but if a candidate feels the need to set the record straight or address something negative, we're going to hopefully contain it, here. We think that works best for users as well. If that's what they like, they can go right there. If they don't want to, get involved in that type of stuff, they can go to the issues. But then on the endorsements, on the endorsement section, here I can look at the endorsements, I can listen to them, I can read them, and then I can, scroll through and look at the other groups and organizations that have endorsed this candidate, and I can get really specific really quickly. So I really like Sarah Silverman. I think she's great, so I click on her and I can listen to her endorsement. And I also think the California Teachers Association is great. I follow them. I want to click on them and see what they have to say. And as I get done with all of my research here on the candidate, I can go back up. I can share the profile on social media, and add, hey, this is great. This is who I'm going to vote for, that type of thing. And then I can also, vote for this candidate. And when I do that, and now that I go back to my ballot, you'll see it's turned green here, and I can then move on to, the next race. So it's a way of really doing lots of research on all the candidates, understanding where they stand on the positions and the issues, understanding their endorsements, really tracking and managing your vote, and doing it all without being exposed to Russian bots or, Facebook memes or Twitter memes or any of that other type of stuff that we know is just, is causing all sorts of problems with democracy. Anyway, again, I know this isn't in, exactly the stuff that you guys invest in, but would love to talk with you. I'm local here in Seattle now, and over by Green Lake, if you know where that area is, and would love to chat with you anytime. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.